and welcome to This Week of the Movies. I'm Matt.
And I'm Eric.
And this week we are celebrating an avalanche of new releases. There are just a ton of things. I feel like August has had the same number of new releases as May, June, and July combined. Not quite the same level of releases, but with things clearing out of and away from like the big blockbusters we had in June and July, that left like 4 or 5 films a week to open in theaters this month. And it's been the case all the way through, and is the case for the last week in August. We'll talk about the one we saw together. I've seen literally 7 things that are open this week that I will be talking about. And then we can touch on Lanterns. But how's your week going, Eric?
I saw a movie.
That is that is good, and you put on Ring of Power.
Yeah, I got a question for you, Matt. Yeah. I'm trying to create. I should talk into the microphone. I'm trying to create something for a display because we're gonna go back to doing the high contrast podcast and stuff. I'm gonna take Deadpool off because he doesn't totally fit. So I got this way too expensive camera. But it's kind of cool. If you look in the thing, that still frame of like reprinted IMAX image from the Odyssey is in there. So it's like you're filming it, like, woo. But I thought, what if I fill it with blockbuster history because of these action figures I have? So my question for you, what is your Mount Rushmore of blockbuster history, like figures, icons?
I can't totally tell who you have in there.
So I have Indiana Jones, Luke and Darth Vader, and almost as a stand-in right now, I have Hugh Jackman's Wolverine.
Oh, that's pretty good. I don't know what other action figures you have. So, I don't think you can go wrong with well, Spider-Man should be in there now because holy buckets.
no shit. I've got a Tom Holland Spider-Man for like my son, but I don't have like Brand New Day.
I would also say one of the Avatar people, because if you're talking about blockbuster history and the format and the money.
I want to know your Mount Rushmore though. Like because obviously like the things I would go to, like the things that I've looked up to try to find on eBay are like Neo from the Matrix. Either not Richard Dreyfuss. What's the name of the main guy in Jaws?
Chief Brody, Roy Scheider.
Roy Scheider, or the shark. Like, just stick the shark in there. Like, I don't know. Like, if you get like mainstays, like, and I have a bunch of like horror figures, but like, you know, like just like big icons from developments and stuff. I was gonna go for like Doc Brown from Back to the Future, or
I would probably have something from Jurassic Park.
Yes. Okay. So that's good. Like E.T. There's probably a bunch of Spielberg.
I mean, you know, when I think of big like blockbusters that are personal favorites, so you know, Jaws, would be Jurassic Park, probably The Dark Knight, Batman, always sticks out to me, and then that's what I was trying to look to see.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it would probably be something Star Wars.
Probably. I mean, Jaws and Star Wars have to be in there. That's why I stuck Luke and Darth Vader in there immediately.
Yeah, and that makes most sense because probably, you know, we think about Empire.
Yeah.
Even though I was looking at it, the highest grossing one is The Force Awakens.
Yep. So, yeah, that's interesting. The Batman one is interesting because Batman 89 was like the end of the era of 80s action blockbusters because it opened up this new, like Sylvester Stallone talks about, I wish I could just print a muscle suit instead of work on it myself, you know, like a whole thing. But, you know, Michael Keaton is the next Arnold Schwarzenegger, you know, that kind of thing. But also The Dark Knight is that era of grounded, gritty reality that took things over. So
and it made $1 billion.
And it made $1 billion.
No, I was just looking at literally as $1 billion. I'm guessing Dark Knight Rises might be higher than that. Yeah, Dark Knight Rises is a little bit higher, but that was when Nolan started being like the $1 billion man.
Yeah. See, that's the thing.
Which
I
he's
don't want
carried.
to.
And I think that also is part of it. Like if you had that era of Batman, you'd not only be Batman, but you'd also be kind of giving a shout out to Christopher Nolan, who's the
That's
IMAX
the
king.
thing.
And
It should be
well, and
Christopher Nolan, but I
that's
don't
why I
want to miss Tim
say
Burton.
having an Avatar figure in there, because
James
both for
Cameron.
the format and for box office.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I kind of want to just throw Terminator in there and not think about James Cameron, but that's just me personally. Like, it's Avatar's not on my blockbuster Mount Rushmore. Like it should be. Avatar 1 is still, right, the highest grossing movie of all time
Yeah, by
for the next
quite
few weeks,
by.
anyway.
Well, I mean, we'll see. Brand New Day could certainly get there, but James Cameron has 3 of the top 5 highest grossing films of all time right now: Titanic, and then Avatar: Way of Water, and Avatar. So,
Yep.
so he has 3. Avengers Endgame is in there. Spider-Man Brand New Day is 6th. Do you know what the other film in the top 5 highest grossing films of all time is?
We've already named 5.
I was telling
Endgame.
you Brand New Day is 6, so it is not actually in the top 5 yet. So 3, Jim Cameron, Avengers Endgame.
The Lion King, the 2019 Lion King. No, it's in the top 10, and that pisses me off.
No, it's 13.
What?
The 2019 Lion King is 13.
Oh, I thought you were saying the movie is 13. I was like, what? What is it? I don't know.
Nizatu.
Oh, yeah.
Which made 1% of its $2.3 billion in a domestic gross.
Hell yeah.
Spider-Man Brand New Day, when it should easily get up there, will be the one that has easily the highest percentage of domestic gross. Because right now it's, as of last weekend, was $2,235,423,264, of which 38.9% is domestic gross. Mm-hmm. The next closest is Avengers Endgame, which ended up with 30.7 domestic gross. Spider-Man Brand New Day has already made more here than Endgame did. And the Jim Cameron ones were, high 20s in domestic gross. So it's kind of interesting. It'll be, we'll see. Do you think Spider-Man Brand New Day is going to end up being the highest grossing film of all time? Because it hasn't really lost a lot of steam.
Yeah, it depends on how they treat it. I think it went 5 weekends in a row at number 1.
It's not that far. I mean, it is a little far off. It's like 650,000 behind Avatar.
That's the thing. Avatar keeps getting re-releases because of the new ones. So we'll see what happens over time as like the next Spider-Man comes out, if they keep putting Brand New Day out. Because at this point, why wouldn't you? It's there's gonna be pre-screenings. They're gonna do like new go see Secret Wars, to go rewatch Brand New Day, Thunderbolts, Endgame, like in theaters leading up to it. Like that. Like, I think if it doesn't get there, I don't know. Like,
it's been the $1 billion summer too, because we've had quite a few. Yeah. I mean, Super Mario Brothers and Michael crossed $1 billion that were kind of like springish releases. Yeah. I think both those were in the April timeframe. But, Toy Story 5, an underrated, went up over $1 billion. Obviously, the Odyssey has been killing it and has done things for R-rated films that we hadn't seen in a long time. And then Brand New Day is just like...
I'll tell you what. If Spider-Man 4 doesn't make it to number 1, depending on economically what happens with people's affordability going to the theaters, Spider-Man 5 will. Because No Way Home was the blockbuster that was like, oh my gosh, something to do during COVID. And it was the first Marvel movie to break. Did it break $1 billion when it was out? Or like everything was like hampered down?
Yeah, it did.
So I think they go up and up and up as the audience builds interest in Tom Holland, and this has been huge.
It just recently passed No Way Home. Let me look.
Mm-hmm.
No Way Home actually was $1.9 billion, so it was pretty close. It's number 9 all time. So, well, I don't think any of the movies released this weekend are going to make $1 billion. I actually wouldn't be surprised if none of them finishes first at the box office this weekend. There's too many things, again, playing to all these different interests, which is nice because if you go to the movies, there's something for everyone. But there aren't like consensus films, and I think that's why things like Brand New Day and The Odyssey are still sitting at the top of the box office. But the biggest of the releases this week is Ridley Scott's The Dog Stars, which is based on a post-apocalyptic novel from Peter Heller. It's in a world where a virus has wiped out most of humanity, and those who are left as survivors, stop me if you've heard this before. The biggest threat in a world where a virus has wiped out humanity is the people that didn't die, that just decided to remake the world in their own image. And I'm going to give this a mild thumbs up. And I'm going to say I am completely torn on this movie because there are things that I really liked. The meditation on a man struggling with grief over the loss of his family and a life and what might have been, and the sequences with the dog, especially in the middle, hit like a ton of bricks. And I'm like, I don't want to be crying openly 40 minutes into this movie that I also think is mediocre. And there were other things, I really enjoyed his back and forth with Margaret Qualley and Guy Pearce and his relationship with Josh Brolin and those characters. But if this movie would have come out 20 years ago, I think it would have seemed maybe more cool and original. But in a world where we've had The Walking Dead for more than a decade, a billion Walking Dead spinoffs, shows like The Last of Us, this dystopic, I could guess the beats. You have the wild, crazy people who just want to watch the world burn, who have formed like a savage tribe. As soon as they landed in Grand Junction, I 100% knew who those people were.
Yeah. Immediately.
Yeah. You immediately, I'm like, I have seen, that was one of the grossest seasons of The Walking Dead where they were like had all this hope and literally walked into people eating people and the way they looked. Ironically, though, I don't know if you've seen Insidious yet, but what's his name is having a moment because he is one of the soldiers when they land there. Sam Spruell. Who is the lead soldier?
Smiley guy.
He's the villain in Insidious. Out of the further too. So back-to-back weeks creating some nightmare fuel. None of that worked for me, and that's why I said it's like a mild thumbs up. I gave it like 2.5 stars. I didn't hate it, and I think there are some beautiful moments and personal things in it, but it hits every cliche of this genre, which has been so played out over the last couple of decades and is really losing steam on the small screen and, on the big screen. That doesn't add anything like cool or particularly new. Like in the Book of Eli, there's a fun twist and there's some really good action sequences and there's Denzel Washington. Jacob Elordi is fine. My favorite characters in this were Josh Brolin and Margaret Qualley, which is sort of unfortunate for him, even though, I bought into the emotionality. I mean, there are some tough beats when he's going to visit his old house, and I liked the way he had like made it almost a museum to the life that was, and having to go, and there were some cool ideas and some cool things. I also had some questions that are never going to be answered, that they, you just have to let go of. But as soon as they got to Grand Junction, I was like, none of this is going to impress me. And I've interestingly seen some people with reviews where they're like, the Grand Junction sequence was the only good part of the movie. You and I were watching for radically different things, if that is your take. But this has been met with kind of a universal shoulder shrug, which is probably about right. But what did you think of the Dog Stars?
Very hard one thumb down. Um, for almost all the reasons you're saying. So here's the thing. I can acknowledge that a movie has good things, and usually I have a soft spot. It is hard to make a movie. Okay. So for something to like work and for the things that I'm about to talk about that are good to work, that is a challenge. And the art in that is great. But I started to get this feeling watching this movie that I got when I was watching The Outsiders on HBO, the miniseries. Every once in a while, I get an instinct that if something is based on the book, I think everything I don't like about it is probably not in the book. And so I looked at the plot synopsis on Wikipedia, and sure enough, on Wikipedia, Grand Junction, they land and some people start firing at them. So they shoot back while they reload their gas tank and they leave. All that was made up for the movie. The hordes of roaches or whatever, like the bad villains or whatever, they're minimal. Spoiler alert, the dog dies in the R-rated movie where there's a dog companion. Again, because everything you can see in this movie comes from like a mile away.
I don't know if it was shocking so much that the dog died as the unceremonious way it died.
Yes,
and
which
how
sucks.
early it died. It ends up being an impetus for him. And I don't really understand how we get to the title of the Dog Stars unless you're supposed to draw the correlation that he calls the one star Jasper at the end.
Because it's all like peeled out of the book in favor of making this Last of Us Walking Dead. Like they think that's what would sell.
So I do wonder then if the book is a little more compelling.
Jasper in the book dies of peaceful old age in his sleep because he's been working when they're on like a hunting and fishing trip.
Oh, well that.
And it's just.
So they ruined
this. Yes, it's just the moment where Higgs is like, that's the end of my old life. And he starts going into this crisis. And it seems like all the meditation on grief, all the stuff that worked is all the stuff that is adapted from the book. And the assault on the complex where he throws a grenade and blows up and he's like, I killed 50 of them. And he's like, I counted 31. There were 14 people that came and attacked Josh Brolin. And all of that, immediately I got this. I was like, the Grand Junction thing.
They want you to believe they want you to think for a time that he died and got wiped out. Never for 1 second did I think his character died.
Never.
Even though it's preposterous, he took 2 arrows center mass in the chest, and that didn't do him. That didn't do him.
Yeah.
But never for 1 second did I think he died.
Yes, I leaned over to my wife and I said there are only 2 things that are going to happen right now because they happen in every movie. One, he's going to find Josh Brolin on his like last breath saying something, and then Josh Brolin's gonna like shoot something behind him and you're gonna get big action set piece like fight off the Reavers climax, or they're all dead and Josh Brolin's just like his leg is broken or something and he's alive in the thing. And sure enough, when he shows up holding the coffee cups, I was like
in his underwear, no less.
In his underwear. Well, what are you gonna do? You gotta bandage yourself up, whatever. Like, and you're alone. Josh Brolin is just
and everywhere.
So
it's good you got this, or thanks for bringing us her. Seema apparently no longer has any agency of her own.
Yeah.
As soon as she arrives.
Yeah, like
she's just a present to be presented by.
Yeah. That's the thing. The relationship between them seems so powerful. And so I'll do like a little bit of positives, a little bit of negatives, and then I'll be done. So the positives to me, Guy Pearce played more of a vulnerable human than I've ever seen him play. I was really impressed with Guy Pearce.
Never watched LA Confidential.
I've seen LA Confidential, but he's kind of a creep, like in some of the scenes, he's like going after the wife and like, there's always like an edge to him that's a little like, like the time machine. He's going after his wife. He's sad he lost her, and then he meets a new romance. But he's like, I don't know. There's just always been something like machine-minded about him. It's kind of how I feel about Christian Bale, and it's weird that they're both with Christopher Nolan.
I think his best scene too is when he's talking to Hig about, what are you going to do if you won't find Grand Junction? And he describes that mountain or whatever. And Guy Pearce just quietly pours him a
Pours him
drink
another.
and slides it over.
Yeah.
And then later when
He
they're on
empties his
when they're
bottle.
on the
He's
plane,
like,
where are we going now? You're not thinking about Telluride, are you?
yeah.
And he chuckles and says, no.
Yeah.
That would have been a real concern.
Yeah, and then obviously that dog actor better become a star. Like I want to see that dog in like every movie. Like that Brad Pitt movie where the dog is supposed to save him or whatever, should have been the same dog. Like
I mean, you don't know it's not.
I don't know it's not actually. Yeah, military dog. Let's find out if that dog is becoming a star. I don't know. Crazy. So yeah, and then all of the little hints, like the teases that worked. But like the downside of the movie is one, it's super predictable. Two, if you've been exposed to The Walking Dead to the point that you quit because it was doing the same thing over and over again, basically, like me, then like that's gonna be your experience here. And The Last of Us and everything that you said, totally. But also the screenwriting in this is very tell don't show. Like even when they begin to hint at things, there's always a scene coming down the pipeline that is going to like spill everything verbally and turn subtext into text, which is fine. I mean, there are more offensive movies out there. It's not worth spending time complaining about the dog stars. But I mean, that's I think why it's a shrug. But my problem really is like, why the hell did Ridley Scott make this other than a studio bought a script, wanted to make money off of it, so they started attaching a bunch of names to it, and they didn't care about the original idea. And that's why I'm giving it a thumbs down, is because it feels like a letdown of an opportunity to speak to something from the original text. And I haven't read the original text, so I don't know that. It could just be this. I mean, like there's some little changes, like Higgs was a pilot, not a mechanic, but a mechanic does make more sense for a survivalist in this world. So cool. But like, yeah, no, that I don't know. I can't. If you see Ridley Scott, there are better Ridley Scott movies. If you like survival apocalypse movies, there's whole TV shows that'll give you hours of better content. If you like Margaret Qualley, she's like a scream queen. Go watch any of her movies. If you like Jacob Elordi and you like to see him do a romance, go watch Frankenstein, Wuthering Heights. I don't know, whatever the hell else he's been doing.
Wuthering Heights.
Okay, don't watch Wuthering Heights. But if you like Josh Brolin,
it was fine. It just.
Yeah, if you like Josh Brolin, I would say go ahead and see the next Josh Brolin movie. Like this
if you're just like a post-apocalyptic world completist, then you want to see this. Also, I have questions about your level of happiness in your life, just in general. It's probably not good.
Yep.
I think that was the only one you saw this week, correct?
Yeah. So I had to ramble about it. So give me a card.
I will give you a clue.
Is it Benny and June again?
Oh.
Okay.
A bird lover saves a young child from criminals. So I'll let you muse on that one. Probably the other big release this weekend, maybe even for some the bigger release, is Coyote versus Acme. This one had a long, arduous road to the screen. In fact, there was a long time where we didn't think it was going to get to the screen in 2023. It was famously canceled by Warner Brothers. Would never see the light of day, even though it had been filmed and completed. Later, it was actually purchased out by Ketchup Entertainment and now getting a theatrical release here at the end of summer. I was very curious to see it. Among its screenwriters still include James Gunn, who is an executive producer here, and kind of interesting. Basically settles on Wile E. Coyote realizing that the Acme products may have been the reason for his repeated failures catching Roadrunner. Finds kind of a shyster bus stop lawyer Kevin Avery, played by Will Forte, and starts a lawsuit that gets wildly out of control, ends up facing off against a very serious and tough corporate lawyer, played by Buddy Crane, played by John Cena, who is representing Acme, which is run by Foghorn Leghorn. You have Bugs kind of as a deep throat character. You have some other, well-known actors popping up in human roles like Lana Condor and John Ely. I can't read. PJ Byrne and others. I thought it was fine. Probably a mild thumbs up. I wanted to like it more. I think we should make a point to go out and see and support it just because we want to send a message. I'm all for that, films deserve that are people work on and complete deserve to be seen. I would still love it if someday we got to see the Batgirl film that similarly was done and just they were like, no, this isn't good. I've seen plenty of movies that were released and promoted
just to get Batgirl.
And some people have really, I don't know if the nostalgia part gives it a little bit of a softer landing. I didn't hate it, but I kind of feel like I felt about the Dog Stars. There were things I thought were amusing. There are things that are kind of cool. Probably the hype for this movie and the process that it went through finally making it to the screen will prop it up a little bit more than maybe it would have warranted on its own. But it's definitely not a bad watch. That bad watch is coming in another movie. I'm going to do one more since there's so many, and then I will give you your hint.
I'm just going to tell people from behind the scenes, Coyote versus Acme got a little bit more of a negative review from me, which means I'm excited because Matt saw something so bad that he's like, yeah, Coyote versus Acme. Yeah, I get it. People are okay. Like, I'm kind of excited about that.
Yeah, there are worse films on this week's episode. Next up is the horror film Buddy, which, have you ever watched an episode of Barney where he's singing his song, hugging the kids, high-fiving the humans, and just thought...
And then whips out an axe.
What if Barney lost it and just snapped and started killing everyone? That's pretty much the theme of Buddy, which is very much set like a 90s cable access show. It's even filmed in that aspect ratio with that cinematic stock. And it centers on Buddy, the bright orange unicorn who has a song that is very closely ripped off from the Barney song. The kids all sing and something happens and Buddy just sort of snaps and starts killing and mutilating people, tries to hide that from the kids. And when they figure out, kind of snaps even further on them. You find out it's tied to a little bit of a larger world. Voiced by Keegan-Michael Key. The film also features Christian Milioti. Michael Shannon provides an excellent voice in here as a puppet opposite Clint Howard. And if that doesn't pique your interest, you're watching the wrong podcast. But
yeah, you're selling this movie so hard to me. This is good.
I'm gonna say I gave this one a solid thumbs up. I don't think it's spectacular, but Ricky and I actually both kind of like this. He may have liked it a little more than I did. It definitely delivers exactly what you're looking for and what you're thinking. It's a crisp 95 minutes. It is wild. I have to tell you, the Michael Shannon puppet voice opposite Clint Howard sequence, I've never seen anything like it, and it made me laugh. Buddy,
I'm so excited,
flipping out and going wild and killing the mailman and beating the mail, and then the things that they end up with. Anyway, it's a wild ride. It's decidedly probably for a niche audience. It comes from director Casper Kelly, who co-wrote the screenplay here, and he did a segment for VHS Halloween, but he worked on Mandy that Nicolas Cage movie, Star Trek Short Treks, which was kind of a wild, crazy little bit. He did the Yule Log Adult Swim. So, those kind of. He worked on the Onion TV series, so you can kind of tell what would have kind of been a natural outflowing into something like this. And I thought it was basically what you would expect it to be.
Mhm.
I'll give you your hint. So this movie takes place.
No,
in
no, 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 no.
Oh, do you know what it is?
I have a guess, but the thing is, these are usually so much more cheesily obvious.
Uh-huh.
That's the hint that I want. Is this like there's no pun, right?
What do you mean?
In the question, a man who's interested in birds saves a woman from criminals.
No,
There's no
it says a bird lover
a
saves
bird
a
lover saves
young
a
child from
young
criminals.
child.
Yeah. So
No,
like,
he does save a young child, Jonathan Masbeth. Is it Sleepy Hollow?
no,
No?
no.
Give me the hint.
You're in decidedly the wrong genre. The film takes place in New York City. I will also say,
It's Home Alone 2.
yeah, I picked this one because
Good. Yeah.
Tim Curry.
Rest in peace, all the wrong people from that movie. Sorry, that's just my opinion.
Anyway, so yes, when I was thumbing through, I was looking for something that connected to this week. I was actually looking to see they don't have any of the Harry Potter ones, at least in the part of the packet that I opened, because I was thinking about that because they're in theaters. But I was like, well, Tim Curry. If I could have found one that was for Pennywise, it's interesting what movies are in there.
And also, just shout out, I have a weird affinity for the Cardinal from the Disney Three Musketeers. We should talk about that movie sometime because, yeah.
Well, if all three of those theatrical options are ones that I said,
I'm sorry. Hold on, just a second. Just a second. I just for a moment, because 2 or 3 days from now is September, which is the beginning of Halloween. Fight me. It's interesting because Ichabod Crane in this movie, the thing that he holds from his mother is the little trinket that is freeing a bird from its cage. And he does come in and finds out that like all the criminal people are like conspiring to have the headless horseman and whatnot. And he saves the kid, Jonathan Masbeth and Christina Ricci, from the cult stuff. It's weird how much that actually lined up, but the other one is more obvious. Yeah, but yeah, go
ahead. So if those first three theatrical releases are ones that you should go check out, here's one you shouldn't.
Man!
The movie is called Idiots. Its original title, I believe, when it was in film festivals, was Shitheads.
Yeah, right there on the car.
But I'm just going to say, like, if you...
Shafeeds.
If you call a film Idiots, you're pretty well setting a certain expectation that the film certainly lives up to. I like Dave Franco and O'Shea Jackson Jr., and there were elements of their kind of partnership and their action together that were okay here. Mason Thames, Kiernan Shipka, Peter Dinklage, Nicholas Hoult, they all appear in this movie. Wildly talented cast. Macon Blair, the writer-director, most recently gave us The Toxic Avenger, which, if you look at my Letterboxd scoring, I actually liked more than I expected. I gave it 2.5
cool.
stars.
I did too. The remake.
Yeah, I gave it 2.5 stars. I didn't think that was bad for what it was. This just does not work for me. It feels interminable, even though it's like an hour and 40 minutes. The humor doesn't really land. The characters don't really land. They were going for a vibe and they were going for something edgy, and it just doesn't work. So that one's a thumbs down for me. I did not enjoy it. The last one that's a theatrical film, this is in limited, is the horror movie Colony. This one comes from the writer of Train to Busan. If you've seen that, this time he co-wrote and directs this film. It basically follows a professor who is tending a biotech conference in the middle of downtown, where another kind of edgy and enraged colleague has decided to unleash a virus that turns people into something not so great. And he holds the only key for getting them out, and they basically create a colony of zombie-like creatures that begin attacking and eating and dismembering. And this one was fine. I'd probably thumbs neutral. Like, if you like zombie movies, it was kind of in a cool location. It's another one that feels a little long. It's a shade over 2 hours. And, I like a tight hour and 40 for a zombie film, especially if 15 minutes in they start eating people. How long do I need to see them running around eating people? And there were some cool action sequences. And at first, when they're kind of confined in this high-rise building, trying to find ways to get away, that creates a unique look. I thought the performances were fine. They definitely set it up in a way that they're hoping it will be a franchise. Some people burned to death. That was a choice. I did not mind this movie. It's not as probably creative and striking as Train to Busan, which is considered kind of a classic in the same genre lines, but it wasn't bad. I would see that again over Idiots. I would put it that way. Two more releases this week, both streaming options. First on Netflix. When you have Adam Scott, Robert De Niro, Michelle Monaghan, and Michael Keaton in a film, you have my attention.
Yeah.
This is a serial killer drama called The Whisper Man, which dropped on Friday. Basically, a grieving father, Adam Scott, who had recently lost his wife, moves to a new town with his young son. His young son ends up disappearing, and it appears that a serial killer known as the Whisper Man, who was caught 15 years earlier and looks an awful lot like Michael Keaton in prison, is back.
Michael Keaton is the serial killer?
Michael Keaton is the serial killer. Robert De Niro was the detective who originally put him away. And Adam Scott's father, so it's his grandson who has been taken, and Michelle Monaghan is the contemporary cop who is trying to hunt them down. There are other people that are in this movie. This is a completely...
Wait, can I take a wild guess before you say your opinion? If this movie came out in the late 90s, it would be a classic?
I mean, it has late 90s vibes. I don't think in any time period it would have become a classic, but Hamish Linklater is in here as a creepy part. Owen Teague is in here as a creepy part. I'm giving this one a mild thumbs up. I think it was sturdy. It accomplishes what it's trying to do. People have dunked on it. Dunk away. Be closed-minded. I mean, like,
dunk away.
It is not an incredible genre, and it does it. If you stripped out and put like CW All-Star actors in this, it probably would be a mild thumbs down. But it's Robert freaking De Niro and Michael Keaton, and Michael Keaton and Robert De Niro have in the prison interrogation room face-offs like Hannibal Lecter and and they're just good. And Michelle Monaghan is very good, and Adam Scott playing like a weathered, losing his mind, stricken with grief is good. And Hamish Linklater playing a creepy serial killer fanboy is good. So the actors were good. It was enough to prop it up. Did I go wild? No, I gave it 3 stars if we were talking about stars. But it is a mild thumbs up. And if you like crime drama and stuff, there are much worse streaming options, which brings me to the final film this weekend, The Last Sunrise. If it was a day where I was having my last sunrise, I pray to God this isn't a movie that would be on that final day, because this movie is so bad. It is a by-the-numbers kind of romance. Eva Longoria plays the disapproving, too hard-working mom who isn't paying attention to her daughter, who's, I think, like Araya, or they call her Rye. Give me a break. Who has some never totally fleshed out medical condition that prevents her from being a dancer and makes her have pensive monologues about how she's probably going to die, which is just because she stopped taking her medication. Turns out she has epilepsy, which is problematic, but I don't believe is fatal unless you're stupid. I mean, I could be wrong about that. a medical expert, but the ultimate solution for this seemed a little too easy and convenient, but I also didn't care. Um, your picture and the wall have better chemistry than the romantic leads in this film. So this one, I is no.
No,
Prime Video has had some fun
no.
options. This is not one of them. Um, this actually would make me choose Idiots again.
Nice.
So, Idiots, not good, not the worst option. So, a lot of movies out there. At least one decent streamer. You have 3 or 4 that are worth checking out, depending on your interests in theaters and your tolerance. I was more forgiving of the Dog Stars than Eric. But I mean, if you were only going to see one movie out of this and you had an affinity for horror movies, it would probably be Buddy. If I was being straight with you, probably the best of the movies this week is Buddy, and it's going to be an interesting week next week where we have Mark Wahlberg battling racism as an overweight gangster just shooting people. So, yeah. So next week might not get we should
might be my catch-up week where I just watch Insidious and pretend it came out that week.
Well, no, if you do see Insidious, we could talk about it next week. But let's talk about ending on something that is probably the highlight for both of us, and that is the Green Lantern Corps still going strong weekly. I thought episode 2 was very strong, introduced a lot of interesting things. Still a good showcase for both Kyle Chandler and Aaron Pierre. I'm all in. I assume you're enjoying it as well.
I am going to call a theory to see if my gut is right. I could be let down. I do not mind being let down because I love the characters as they are. Martian Manhunter's name is John Johns. If John Stewart's father is also named John, he's John Jr. I think the thing that if I am right,
I thought the Martian Manhunter was a good guy though. At least okay. He was in the CW version.
No, he always is. He's a part of the Justice League, but that's the thing for me. They already cast this Jon Stewart actor in Superman Man of Tomorrow, but Guy Gardner is also there, so 2 Green Lanterns. Unless he's secretly Martian Manhunter. And the whole thing here is the Manhunters were actually prosecuted because the Guardians usually have some hidden evil, corrupt police kind of secrets. And so the fact that Hal does not know who the Manhunter is, and he doesn't know the history either, and the idea that Abin Sur was transporting a Manhunter and crashed on Earth and they've been hiding, that maybe that was Jon Stewart's dad, or it's him being raised, or I really think there's going to be a possible huge subversion in the idea that Guy Gardner is the next Green Lantern after Hal Jordan, and this is actually John Johns, the Martian Manhunter, evading capture and whatnot. So we'll see. I could be totally wrong because this guy is nailing Jon Stewart. So if he's just Green Lantern, that's perfect. I love the chemistry still between them. I love the world building. I love the manifesting the bird without the ring. But I also, low-key, that brings me back to my thing, because it's not, as far as I know, not really a precedented thing from the comics that without any power source, someone's holding on to and generating a construct, And it is true that it takes an intense amount of willpower to craft something as intricate and living as something versus just a hammer, right? So I feel like they're teasing there's something unusual and special about him, and how Jordan has these instincts and he's playing like he's the blunt force in the room, but he's always kind of smarter and more experienced in the room. There's just a lot of really cool stuff. And for some reason, Damon Lindelof constantly is I like his mystery boxes. Miss me with J.J. Abrams completely. He has me hooked. And like, I don't mind if I get disappointed. Oh man, I'm having so much fun with this.
Well, we'll see what the next episode brings. I'll look forward to keep talking about that. And then next week we will. There's a wide variety of releases again. Fall 2 Dead Point comes out Wednesday, which is the sequel. I guess it is more closely tied to the first one than I realized. By Any Means is Yahya Abdul Mateen and Mark Wahlberg just shooting people in the name of curbing racism. Onslaught, the latest from Adam Wingard, that has a pretty good cast, including Dan Stevens, Rebecca Hall, and Adria Arjona. And we also have the new Apple TV film Mayday with Ryan Reynolds and Kenneth Branagh. So,
early buzz for that has been kind of positive.
Yeah, and there's also a movie called The Last Sunset, which I know I have a screener for that has Elle Fanning and Jake Johnson. The Sun Never Sets. God, names are hard. The Sun Never Sets. That has I got the wrong Fanning. It's Dakota Fanning and Jake Johnson. It's one of them. I'm winning right here. That is a Joe Swanberg film, and that one had a limited opening this week, but goes wider on September 4th. So we are continuing kind of steamrolling along. I was looking all the way through September. We have like a handful of releases every week, and then that even continues a little bit. Looks like the beginning of October, because October 2nd we have Digger from Inarritu, Beware Bayona, which is a giant snake in the jungle movie that I actually saw a trailer for, and Verity. And then October 9th is The Social Reckoning and Other Mommy. And the 16th, Sense and Sensibility, Street Fighter, and Whalefall. So it looks like for the next few months, they're going to continue to dump things out. And then you get to December, and it looks like people have kind of cleared out, except for the 18th, where Avengers Doomsday and Dune 3 are still scheduled to open at the same time.
The next one I'm like super hyped for is Resident Evil. But that's cool, because in this downtime, when I do get to watch movies, it means I'm going to get to see the things that I'm not thinking about that are like pleasant surprises, hopefully. Yep. So,
and with there being 4 or 5 releases a week, usually at least you're going to find one that.
And usually I just wait it out until Matt tells me which ones didn't disappoint him, and then I get to watch like that one.
Yeah, well, I love being the first through the door. So, well, that'll do it for us this week. Until next week. We will see you at the movies.